It's too late. And now hundreds of thousands of Americans are figuring out really quick, especially now that it's hitting the mainstream media, and people like the CFO or the CEO of Redfin are coming out and saying, yes, you are going to see real estate prices fall during the hottest time of the year, for sales, that is, and for the year of the weather. It's something that I've been warning everyone about. It's now here. And I love being able to bring you these cycles before they happen, and in a way that you have time to prepare. Before I share this story out of Fortune, I want to tell you about something that happened to a friend of mine a little while back. It was a little over a year ago. He said he was thinking about selling his house, and I said, you better hurry up because things are going to get nutty. And he goes, okay, I'll get it fixed up. I called him like 4 months later. I said, have you listed your house yet? He says, no, I'm going to wait until July. This was in the spring. I said, you need to sell your house right now. You are beyond the top. It's already curving. And it's funny because most people look at just the price, or they talk to a friend that sold their house super fast, and people don't understand the time lag that happens between a story and reality. And he waited, he fixed it up a little bit more. He just wanted a little bit more money out of it. And in July, he listed it, and it didn't sell. Months went by, it didn't sell. He lowered the price, it didn't sell. Lowered the price again, it didn't sell. I called him a year later and I said, how did you sell your house? And he goes, I should have listened to you. He goes, I've dropped the price 30%. My home is now priced $10,000 higher than the lowest price home comparable in the entire area, and I can't sell my home. I think I missed it. And it's funny because everybody runs around during times of euphoria and they go, and I lived this. I was part of this during the 2008 crash because I'd already sold all my homes, and everyone thought I was crazy. The last home I sold, it was very difficult. As a matter of fact, I only made $6,000 profit on my last flip in 2006. The market had dried up. Buyers weren't showing up. They'd finally figured it out. They either threw in the towel or they were smart enough to go, I see the signs of the times and I'm going to wait. And through some very creative advertising, I sold that home. Well, now it's happening all across the country, and we're there. I'm going to start with this story out of Fortune. I'm going to remind everyone there's 3 days left of the Mortgage Master Course, the pre-filming discount. There's 3 days left. If you want to be ready for this, I have set up a curriculum to where you will be so ready, you'll be laughing at how much money you save, not only in closing costs, but in the tens of thousands of dollars in the first 3 years of your loan payment, quite frankly. And I have put together a program that will give no one a reason to not buy a home during this crash. All right, this story is out of Fortune. This is really exciting. It says, after sitting on the sidelines for months, sellers finally want to offload their houses, but no one's buying. Fortune once called the historically low mortgage rates of the pandemic era a blessing and a curse. It's true. There's nothing better than below market rate, especially when there's such a substantial difference, but it keeps you locked in. It's hard to give up, let's say, a 3% mortgage rate for a 7% one, unless you have no other choice. It's a phenomenon called the lock-in effect, and all year it has shown subtle signs of easing. Last year, existing home sales fell to their lowest point in almost 3 decades because no one was selling or buying homes. But it seems sellers are finally ready. The only thing is, buyers aren't matching their energy. Home sellers are returning to the market, but finding buyers hesitating. Zillow's chief economist Skylar Olson wrote in a monthly housing report published today. I'd bet if you Google Skylar Olson, Skylar wasn't even out of college or high school during the Great Recession, has no comprehension of real estate cycles. And that's what's really cool. To be honest with you, I've lost a ton of sleep over how excited it's been for me to be able to meet people that said, I refinanced the month you said you've got to refinance now, you're going to miss out on the greatest opportunity to save a ton of money, and they did it. I have talked to people that sold their homes and they said, I did it when you said. And now, because unless you're in the game, let me give you an example. When you go to sell your home, you're hyper focused on all the homes that are available around you and how long they're taking to sell. When you're buying a home, you're hyper focused on the market of available homes, how quick they're selling for and what they're offering for the price. And the problem is the American public has been listening to their neighbor down the street that has no freaking clue about the real estate market. As a matter of fact, most real estate agents have no freaking clue about the market and its cycles. They only care about their commission. And that's what gets me so excited. You know, it's funny. It's like, hey, someday I should start a YouTube channel. And you know how many people go, well, it's already saturated. There's already a ton of people out there. And you don't even try. Well, it's the same thing with real estate. Hey, you know, I'm gonna go get a smoking deal out there. No, not everything's so expensive. There are deals every single day. You just need to know how to find them. And it's so amazing to me. This is the most exciting time. I told my students when I first started the first real estate cycles course, I'm gonna show you how you wanna buy homes at really high interest rates. And people went, what in the heck are you talking about? I said, because you're going to wait for maximum pain. Maximum pain on both the buyer side when they walk away, throw in the towel and get frustrated. And you want maximum pain and fear with the seller side where they are freaking out. Now, there is a handful of months left before you see an all-out Armageddon in the housing market. In the next 4 to 5 months, you are going to see people that find out that their home is underwater. People that bought their homes in the last 2.5 years, and they are going to actually walk away. They're going to stop paying their payments. And part of it is going to be because of some propaganda that is put out on the mainstream media through the White House. I know this sounds crazy, but they're going to start to go, oh, poor you homeowners, you're getting your insurance canceled and your payments are high and things are rough. You know what? It's okay. Let's move into forbearance. And it is the greatest trap of in our country's economic history, quite frankly, next to the fiat currency. It started during the pandemic. It's okay. You can claim forbearance. What they didn't tell you is they attacked your credit. Think of all the people that claimed forbearance because of COVID and it still hit their credit. Please know that. Type 1 if you understand that. Like, all these people got completely fooled. Don't worry, you don't have to pay your credit card bill. Hey, credit card companies, go easy on them. They go, okay, we're still gonna get able to hit their credit, right? And they're like, oh yeah, hit their credit. Because now they are completely out of the market. That's it. That's it. There's not, oh, you're not gonna take our house, you'll work with us? Yeah, and people just fell for it. And they stacked up forbearances. Now, 90% of those forbearances were actually worked out in the form of a longer term loan, and they stacked the amount they didn't pay on the back end of the loan, and they put them into 40-year mortgages. But now think about this. What they did on top of that was they now destroyed their ability to go out and get a good mortgage and to refinance that home. They're stuck. The other 10% that didn't work out that forbearance, they're being foreclosed on, and you'll see at the end of the month, around the second week of July, all of those foreclosure numbers pop out, and you're gonna see quite a little pop, just little pop. Not much, about this much, but on a percentage basis, it'll blow your mind. We'll be well into 2018 numbers. You see, the thing is, during the entire great financial crisis, there was only about 100,000 homes that were foreclosed on. It didn't matter how many homes were foreclosed on. The fact is, because so many people in our nation missed a couple credit card payments, they couldn't go buy a house. So what happened is exactly this effect that's happening right now. All across the nation, inventory is exploding on a percentage level basis, and it's going to get even better. And sellers are going to start to lose their minds. And this is something that most humans can't figure out. And I'm going to give this lesson to you right now. It's so easy to figure out. And I want you to wake up and so you can start taking action. People say real estate can't fall by 50%. Well, I'll tell you what, it doubled. So that means that if people didn't go out and get a new loan, which they didn't, they're stuck in those 3% loans, right? That's what everybody in the media keeps telling you. This is what they don't tell you. Let's say a $300,000 house, someone went and got a 3% loan, and right now they could sell it for $550 or $600, or they think they can. They can't anymore. We've now passed that point, right? We're past the point of no return. There's too many homes on the market, too few buyers. Okay. They've got like 600,000 in their mind, and they start watching people list their homes, and they start dropping their prices. And then they finally go, okay, I'm going to sell, but now I need to sell my house, and that house down the street's been on the market for, let's say, 2-3 months. I'm going to list my home for 10 grand under. And it doesn't sell, and they start getting panicky. Well, you have to remember, they paid 300 grand for that house. They can run that thing all the way to 300 before they lose money, and they're going to. This is exactly what they did from mid-2006 to 2008, before the nation gave up. And that's exactly where you are right now. You have inventory stacking up, and you have seller concessions exploding. As a matter of fact, the amount of seller concessions that happened in the last couple of months has doubled on a percentage basis. Meaning sellers are figuring out, I'm gonna either have to lower my price, or I'm gonna have to take some things off the table. Another thing is, you've already seen the new home sellers. They've been conceding in an insane amount. On the average, a $600,000 house, they're having to give the buyer $50,000 in either upgrades or using that money to buy down their mortgage rate for a couple of years with a mortgage company. So they've already lost. The new home sales always lose first, but what people don't realize is they were able to bolster those numbers by lying to people. Okay? This is happening right now. If you want to be ready for this, you need to start taking action. And the scary thing is, it's so simple to figure out. Right now, 90-day delinquent credit card bills are at a 12 or 13-year high. We're talking about the last time 90-day delinquent credit cards were this high was in the throes of the great financial crisis. And this crisis is going to be so much worse than the last one, as we're losing dollar supremacy. And I'm going to answer this question right now, because I'm sure a lot of people are like, well, how are you going to make money in real estate when nobody has a job? Well, first off, during the Great Depression, only 1 out of 4 people lost their job, 25%. And that was called the Great Depression. You know what that meant? 3 people out of 4 had a job. And you see, you make money in real estate. It's not some hocus pocus fancy stuff. You could learn this by reading 50 books. You don't need any special course or anything like that. If you just want to save time and hack life, then you go buy courses from people that know what they're doing. You spend money, you take people out to dinner, you learn from people that do, right? This is what you need to understand. You don't make money the day you sell a home. You make money the day you bought it, because it's called a cost basis. You've locked in your gain or your loss. You either made a good deal or you made a bad deal. End of story. And the thing is, this nation is full of poor people that think they've got money because they have access to a credit card. They have no clue of what real wealth is. And honestly, the easiest way to wealth in this nation is not only by owning your own home, cash, so you're not under the throes of some... I got weird thoughts in some landlord that's greedy and raises rents. I'm going to be honest with you. This will probably blow your mind. I've never raised rents on any of my tenants. Ever. The only time I've ever raised rents is when a tenant moves out and I raise the rent and advertise it at a higher price. I've been so successful finding good tenants and then taking care of them like they were family and saying, you take care of my home, this is the price we negotiated. I don't care if you're here for a year or 10 years or 20 years. I bought the property right based off of this rent, and I'm going to make a profit. And I've been able to keep good people and then watch those people leave and go be successes on their own. But there are a lot of landlords out there that are super greedy, and because they read some book by some moron that sits there and shoves them a bunch of lies and feeds into their greed. You know, it's easy to be successful with one thing, only one thing that you need to know. You just need to be ready, and then you can take action. That's it. You just got to be ahead of the game. And that's why I set up these courses in a specific way, teach people real estate cycles. Then we're going to teach people, I did a course on how to sell a home and to think better and wiser and have a plan of attack that's better than your real estate agent. And I have people calling me and going, how did you do this? I'm like, because not only was I a real estate agent, I was the worst real estate agent in the world because I couldn't sell people a bag of goods. You know how many times I was trying to sell people a home? And then I'm going, now remember, in a few years, this whole market's going to turn. That doesn't sell a lot of homes. So I did good in the commercial sector when I was dealing with properties that were worth like 25 million and up. That was my bailiwick, because I could go and talk to venture capitalists and hedge funds. I talk their language. I can't speak the language of a home buyer. Why? Because it's an emotional buy. If you want to be successful, you do it through real estate. End of story. And right now, you are on the cusp of the greatest move in real estate in history. This is going to make the great financial crisis look like a joke. How do I know that for sure? Is because they went up, the home prices went up higher. And just, you know, Fed, even if they drop rates for political reasons for a couple months, they're going to skyrocket rates, and you're going to see 10% mortgages. Mark my words. Download this video and hold on so you can try and prove me wrong. Type 3 if you agree that interest rates are going higher in the medium term, the next couple of years from where they are now. I don't care if they dip a little bit in the next few months. I could care less what they do before the election. They're going to go much higher. And the reason why I know this, I can guarantee you this, is because the Fed wants you unemployed. They want you down and out. They want to shove a digital currency up where the sun don't shine so fast that you accept it and say, yes, sir, give me more. That is exactly the plan. And if you ain't ready for this, then you are going to lose, and you're going to be poor, and you're going to go through a cycle of being poor. And we're talking a decade. The Great Depression took 14 years to recover to where it was again, to where banks were lending the same levels, near the same levels before the run-up. And people don't know what's going on. They shoved a flu down your throat just like they did in 1918. The Spanish flu, which I'll be honest with you, I can't find more than 8 photos, and they all look freaking staged, and they're from far away. 100 years later, they did it again. And they're going to take your money. They put us into the Depression of 1920, and then they ran it up with money printing called the Roaring 20s. Do you see the obvious right in front of you situation that you've got here? Now, I'm being straightforward and honest. I had the opportunity to go and sell my courses for thousands of dollars. And you know what? I've met people that own Gulfstream jets. I know people that have 900 rentals that have taken those courses, and I could have sold them, and they told me the same thing. It's worth it. But you know what? I want to wake up the person that never had the confidence. Someone told me that I wouldn't be happy when I bought my first home until I lost it all. I was also laughed at in the mortgage, my first home I tried to buy. I was laughed at. I said I didn't qualify. Yeah, I proved her wrong, moron. That's how I feel. So I'm trying to wake the people up that never had the courage. And honestly, and it's not an insult, it's because you didn't have the knowledge to go stand up and go, hey, I want to buy a house. And then once you buy a house, you don't stop and you go, wait a minute, if I bought a house for me, I can go buy a rental. And then I'm going to go buy a small rental at first. I'm going to test the waters, and then I'm going to go start an LLC. And before you know it, you got 10 rentals, and you got so much dang cash flow. You're like, do I want to work right now? And it's not that you're not going to work. You're like, well, I don't have to get yelled at by my boss anymore and do some stupid job or deliver packages or whatever I'm doing that I'm tired of. Why don't I go and help people get good housing and go crush it? You know, for years, let me ask you this, honest truth. If you are sick and tired of like the way our economy rolls and how this, because I love capitalism. Capitalism lets the best person win, right? The person with the best product or the best service, that's capitalism. If anyone else tries and they do a bad job, they fail, right? But our economy is set up now, it's not capitalism, it's socialism, where whoever pays off the highest bidder for the politician, they can run their company in the ground and they get a bailout from taxpayer dollars. If that makes you sick, type the letter 5. See now, and this is the reason why I asked this, because I'm being really serious right now. The only way to stop it, it's not voting someone in, it's you doing something about it. See, politicians know something that most people don't. They want to lie to you every single time you go to the polls and tell you that if you vote for them, they're going to fix your problems. They're not going to. You have to be the one to do it. You have to stand up and say enough's enough. I'm going to go get rich. And how do you get rich? The easiest way is real estate. This is the greatest opportunity before you ever, but you're going to have to be a little patient, and you're going to have to do the work now. Be ready so that you don't have to get ready. Type 6 if you know what that means. Be ready so that you don't have to get ready. Getting ready, you're too late. Right now, I told people a year ago, you better sell your houses. You better sell now. Lock in that rate, go get a rental. And people are like, well, it's like $500 more a month. I'm like, so what? You got an extra $300,000 in your pocket. And people just don't get it. because greed sets in mixed with a little bit of laziness, and that's how you lose. So if you want to win, get ready. Now, I've got 3 days left of the most no-brainer deal I think in my life. I've lost more sleep over this because to say this fact, that I believe that for the cost of what you're about to pay for this course, you're gonna save so much money, it's insane on the next home that you buy or you refinance. It's a joke. I've been doing this for 24 years. I've got about only 45 mortgages under my belt, but the way that I think is different than anyone else. So if you wanna take a chance, I don't even remember what the pre-filming discount is right now, but it's well under 200 bucks. And what I'm gonna do with this course is for the next year, because you're gonna see changes in the mortgage market like you would not believe. And every time a new mortgage product comes out, I'm gonna do a new lesson on it. And I'm gonna make the course even that much more valuable because the price is gonna go up. Because I'm still gonna save people lots and lots of money. That's how I made it. I paid for courses, I took people out to dinner, I bought books, I grinded back in the year 2000. Now, do you want to listen to some real estate agents that's got some small channel out of Florida saying, oh yeah, things look bad, but it's going to go good. Just buy my house, buy this house. Or listen to some broker that says, don't worry, the Fed's going to lower rates pretty soon. No, they're not going to, because those brokers have no concept what macroeconomics is and how financial systems work. That's it. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a dude with a brohawk and a dream. But I'll tell you what, there's nothing better than listening to one of my students sit there and say, you've completely changed my life, thank you. I said, what's that worth? How much is that worth? So if you're taking action right now, type 10. If you're preparing, and I want everybody that's on the fence to sit back and go, should I start doing something? Is this dork with the McDonald's coffee? He's not on CNBC. He's not on Fox Business, none of that stuff. Do you think he's got something? Do you think he's right? You know, I'm reminded, is Doug in here? Anyone see Doug, the moderator? So Doug is one of my first students, and he's a home flipper out of Florida. He has massive experience when it comes to flipping homes. And he contacted me in a thank you email once that the stuff that I taught was groundbreaking, and it's very hard to hear that, but after you hear it like 1,000 times, you're like, all right, it's because I think differently. And it's so easy to help people, but you just have to help them in the right time point before it happens. And right now you're seeing like this story out of Fortune. It's too late. Anyone that's trying to sell their home, if you're not aggressive right now and you're not like in a position where you're like, I need to know how to aggressively market my home and my real estate agent has no clue of what's going on, I'm not going to be able to sell it. And interest rates are going to go higher. I told people when I started doing courses and working, I said, you're going to want to wait until mortgage rates are double digits. Do you know how many people can't even fathom that? But we have inflation as strong because the government's lying to you. They're excluding energy and food. Please know that the real rate of inflation is as high as the late 70s right now. And it's going to get worse because of trade wars due to hot wars. We have Russian warships off the coast of Florida right now. You want to know why? Because they're trying to intimidate us from sending a flotilla over to Saudi Arabia because of what they just did. They walked away from the petrodollar. If you don't think that, regardless if one shot is fired, you don't think that this market is about to turn in a way that will blow your mind? Right now, people are being taken out at the knees because they've missed a couple credit cards or they went into forbearance a couple years ago. They aren't going to be part of this next cycle for mortgages. And if you think for a second that banks aren't going to be lending, then you have no clue how a bank makes its money. They only make money if they take your money and they lend it out at interest. Please know, there is always banks that will give out money for mortgages. The only difference is how many people qualify. And then you're in a situation, since there's so few people that qualify, that is exactly why prices on homes plummet. And BlackRock and all these massive funds have walked away from buying homes. The home builders are in collapse. I told you the other day, D.R. Horton is listing what is it, 58 neighborhoods from between 100 and 150 doors per neighborhood. They were $350,000. We're talking in the other side of the country, and they're now marking them down to $250,000 if companies will come in and buy them whole. And they're saying, we don't even need earnest money, because no one is showing up to buy them. And they will not sell them to the public, because the second they sell one for 250, this exact same phenomenon happened 2.5 years in China. They start getting sued by everyone else that bought a home for 350. That's exactly how it works. Their back's up against the wall. So we're waiting for a moment, and you have a certain amount of time to get your credit set up, to get your financial history set up. And that's why I put these checklists together, to where you're sitting there and you're going, I'm ready. You walk into a bank and they go, how much do you want and when do you want it? Because you're a prime borrower. I'm going to turn you into a prime borrower and a totally different strategic thinker when it comes to real estate. And yeah, you know what? I could go and charge more for these courses and have less students, the same amount of money. Well, you know what I want to do? I want to affect the people that didn't have faith in themselves, because somebody had faith in me a long time ago. But it took effort on my part, and it took having some skin in the game to go become who I am and be in the place where I'm at. So if you want to learn how to be wealthy, the first thing you need to learn is timing. And the timing is right now. There's 3 days left of the pre-filming discount. After that, the price goes up. It will never, ever, ever, ever be this price again. It's the Mortgage Master course, and then I have the Mortgage Master 2.0 that we are still in filming for. So that's going to take about a month, but that's the pre-filming discount for that too, and that's the investor series. And I'm going to show people how to go get commercial loans, and your mouths will drop at how easy it is. Hope you guys have a great day. The link's down below. Economic Ninja is out.